Welcome back, guys, to another video of your one and only Literary Pharaoh. Yes, I'm on the way to work. I'm not going to title this morning workout talk. You're not going to see that on the title. When I upload this video, I'm going to title it something else. I did work out today. Amazingly enough, wife and I woke up at 4. And we did Windsor's Pilates for like 21 minutes, and then we jumped into the yoga. We didn't do the full yoga workout because the full yoga workout is like an hour. But the last half, like the last quarter of the hour, is usually just a lot of low intensity stretching stuff. Like you're on your back and you're just doing things with your legs, and it's not as intense. So what I did, because of time, we didn't want to spend almost an hour and 30 minutes working out because, time is against us. So what we did the Windsor's Pilates video because we wanted to switch it up, and then we did the yoga video till like 3/4 of the video. So that was pretty cool. Yeah, we did that. We got that done, and my wife took my little daughter to track practice yesterday because my little daughter, she's 5, she in this little league track summer league it's not summer anymore, but she's with this team, and they go year round. They keep working out to stay in shape and keep their keeping up with their condition, keeping their condition up. So that's pretty cool. And my wife gets some extra running in. She ran 2 miles yesterday while watching my daughter practice. And it's amazing because as a man, you guys know this, as men, if you're with your significant other, and we know what women go through. We don't know how it feels, but we know what they go through. If you have any children, women gain weight. Their body goes through so much changes, hormonally, physically, physiologically, even psychologically. There's a change that occurs when a woman has a child, and it's not easy to always have the quote-unquote bounce back. But what I try to advise people is that if you are pregnant, monitor what you're eating and continue to be active. Just don't lay in bed 24/7 assuming that because I'm pregnant I'm not supposed to do anything. It's hard. Yeah, it's harder, but you still keep walking. They have a ton of resources out there for pregnancy workouts. Continue to stretch, continue to keep your body in motion, and still be very mindful of what you eat. You guys know how I feel about food, and food is the most quintessential element of life, because food you choose to eat can either accentuate the quality of life, or it can debilitate your quality of life or make it worse. And you don't want to start feeding your fetus junk while that child is in the developmental stages. You don't want to do that. So I'm saying that because it was a journey for my wife. She gained a lot of weight, of course, when she was pregnant, and she knew she didn't want to look like that, and she also knew that I didn't like it. But women, it's tough because they want to look good for their man, and vice versa. Men want to look good for their wives, or they want to look good for their girlfriends or significant other. But when you have something growing inside your body, making you gain weight and making you change, and also hormonally driving you to eat certain foods that you normally probably wouldn't even want to eat, when you have certain cravings, it's difficult. I can't empathize with a woman because I'm not a woman. I've never carried a baby in my stomach. I don't know how it feels to go through menstrual cycles. I'm not even close. But I can sympathize with that, with the emotional aspect of it, of having something that's out of your control, controlling your center. But with that being said, my wife has worked very hard, and she ran track when she was younger, so she's an athlete. It's always good to to find somebody that was physically involved in something, whether in high school or college. The obesity rate in America today is staggering. The numbers are very conservative. The numbers that they provide you are actually not true. They say 48% of Americans are obese. That's a lie. It has to be 70 something percent. In Texas alone, it's 60 something percent, but that number is higher. The reason why you say, how do you know, Literary Pharaoh? Because I have eyes. I mean, the majority of places I go, most people are obese, even children. See, when they're factoring numbers, when they're putting in these numbers, you can't just limit your count or your percentage count. You can't just limit that to just adults alone. You have to factor in everybody. I go to my daughter's school. I'm seeing kids in elementary already obese. You haven't even lived long enough, yet you have the ability to be obese at such a young age. The rapid increase in metabolic syndrome is high. Metabolic syndrome is when your body lacks the proper, let me put it this way, where your body, your metabolism doesn't break down food as fast as it needs to. So it's called metabolic syndrome. So if your metabolism isn't functioning properly, then you're going to gain excess weight. And that's the early stages to diabetes. And that's why you have so many kids. They're setting up their lives. They're laying down the groundwork, or they're laying down the foundation to have diabetes when they get older. So what me and my wife do, and what I do, and what we do, it's not, and I'm sure other couples do it out there, but I wish more people would do it. You got to find a common struggle. And when you and your significant other find that common struggle, then you both tackle that common struggle together. You may ask the question, what do you mean common struggle? I mean common struggle of existing, common struggle of keeping yourself healthy. I think that's a common struggle with everybody, just like it's a natural human trait. It's part of our human biology to seek sustenance, to seek food for sustenance, to survive, to preserve our bodies, to preserve our minds. And being that's an established fact, you have to understand that the world around you has laid out before you toxic filth to meet your needs. So if you have a need to sustain yourself with food, the industrial complex has its toxic filth, calling it food, extending their hand as if they're extending to you an olive branch to say, here, we're going to provide you food. We have restaurants, we have boxed foods, we have processed meats, we have things in cans, we have all sorts of foods for you. But unbeknownst to us, we believe that it's in good faith, but it's not in good faith. It's diabolical at best, and it's a way to wage war on the masses to make sure that the population rate is low, to make sure that people do die and get sick. And while we're at it, let's make sure that the pharmaceutical industries and the drug companies get rich off of the illnesses of the people. So that's the common struggle that we all have as humans. And I implore all of you guys to find a way to start eating healthy, start eating foods that are grown from the earth, plant-based foods. I'm not saying go vegan or vegetarian. I'm not into names. Just eat plant-based foods. You say, what do you mean by plant-based foods? Foods that grow from the earth, legumes, beans, vegetables, fruits. Eat things that are grown. Corn. I know some of you guys love corn. You can still eat corn. It's a starch, but be mindful. Eat things that have color. Stay away from all this processed meats. And then find a way to incorporate a workout regimen. It doesn't matter what you do. Start moving. Just move. I tell people all the time, it's not even about gaining muscle, be a bodybuilder or be a fitness model. It's not even about that. It's about just being good to yourself. Move. Your cells are dying and crying for you to move. You have stiffness in your back. Your joints are this. You're not moving enough. And then you're eating foods that are inflammatory. That's why it's good to eat fruits and vegetables, because they have anti-inflammatory properties in them to decrease the swelling and to decrease the joints from being so inflamed. So yeah, I'm proud of my wife because it's not easy, but she's looking real good. When we got married, actually, I'm more in shape now than I was when we got married. I haven't gained any weight. As a matter of fact, I think I've lost a little weight because the pants, this the other day, the pants that I wore for my wedding, and that was in 2018. The wedding was in 2018. The pants that I wore, scoot over here. The pants that I wore on my wedding day, they're kind of loose. Not kind of, they are loose. I would have to get them tailored. Even shirts that were tight on me now are loose. Like this shirt that I'm wearing now is actually a medium. Because as I get older, as time passes on, my eating becomes better and better, because the better you eat, the more doors are open for you. You start to think more cerebral about your food and about your diet. And the universe starts to speak to you. You start to move towards things that are even better. You elevate. That's what's called evolution of the human mind. Just like if a person begins working out today in 2024, let's say by the time 5 years passes, let's say it's 2029, that person will have developed a nuanced way of working out because they've been doing it for so long. You become an expert in what you continue to commit to. So if I'm a person that's committed to eating healthy, you're gonna understand that the older I get, the wiser as an eater I become. But yeah, that's how it is. So I'm happy, man. I'm happy. I feel good, and my wife, she's 5'8". At the wedding she was 145, I believe. Yeah, she was 5'8", 140. Yes, hold on. Was she 140 or 140? I can't remember, but she was in the 140. She wasn't 150. She was 140. She was 140. She's 5'8", 140. And right now she's almost at that weight. And the only thing she's trying to work on now is just, and it's funny because she's so hard on herself, right? Women are so hard on themselves. She's looking at her, she's always hyper focused on her stomach. I'm like, babe, your stomach is fine. It's not. I mean, it's not ripped up. And I told her, I said, I'm a man. Like, I'm the one. I want to have the chiseled abs. Like, I don't need you to have all that. Like, men who have muscles, I'm not looking for a woman with muscles. I don't want to touch another man. Men have muscles. That's just, personally speaking to me, that's disgusting. Like, I don't like muscular women. I still want you to have your curves and be a woman, and just be little toned. I don't need you all ripped up. That's not sexually stimulating to me. Doesn't entice me. It doesn't seduce me. It doesn't do anything for me. But on our wedding day, her stomach was like super flat. You know what I mean? And it's almost like that now, but she's fine. I mean, her waist is like tiny, and every time she goes to work, people are, they're bragging and giving her compliments about her shape. They're asking her what she's done. They ask her, how many kids you have. She says 3. They're like, what? She works in an educational system, and she gets stopped so many times because people think that she's a student. And that's a good thing. That's a testament to her eating and her working out. When you eat fruits and vegetables, it makes you look better. Your skin looks better. You start to have a particular glow because you are what you eat. Think about it. When you go to the fruits and vegetables, when you go to the fruits and vegetables sections, you know, you tend to, somebody literally just cut me off without even looking, and I still kept my cool. But anyway, when you go to the fruits and vegetables sections, you have all these colors, vibrant colors. Those things are they're going to accentuate your melanocytes, and your melanocytes are what feed your pigment. All right, it feeds through the epidermis, the dermis and the epidermis, and then you start to see the glow on your skin because you are what you eat. There are certain people, I know you guys have noticed this, where they start to look like the foods they eat. Like people eat a lot of pork and like meats like that, they start to look like pigs. Their nose starts to flare out. They start to have like meat rolls in the back of their heads. They start to look like the animals they consume. And you got to be careful. And you can't even trust the meat industry because it'd be best if you had your own farm, which is not common. But if you had your own farm and you had your own animals, and you raised your animals in a stress-free environment, and you didn't infuse and pump your animals with steroids and all these other things, and your animals were just raised normally, and you slaughtered the animals you raised to eat those, I think that'll be your best bet. But to just trust the industry, you never trust the industry, because we understand from a business standpoint, anything that's mass produced, whenever you have a particular product that's mass produced, you have to understand that mass production, in order to cut corners, in order to allow themselves to mass produce, they're going to cut back on quality. So quality is going to be impacted. The quality of your product will be hampered, will be impaired, will be compromised. You're not going to get the best of the best. We understand that if you want the best of the best, it takes time. Just like they call it fast food, but there's nothing it's fast food because the food is done quickly, but there's a consequence to consuming fast food because it's fast, right? And you're missing out on nutritional density. You're getting a lot of empty caloric junk in your body, making you gain excess weight. But if you go home and cook your own food, it takes time, but you are in control of the ingredients. If you cook things from scratch, like I often do when I'm making my cauliflower crust pizza, and that's the only time that I use dairy products. I'm not a big cheese guy, but I'm a big pizza guy. So I every now and then, maybe once a week, I'll make it, and it's funny because I can eat so many slices and I don't feel bogged down. I don't feel full. I don't have the same effects as I would have with eating pizza that has like dough, flour. Cauliflower crust pizza is very light, and the ingredients I use are fresh. I use nothing but vegetables for my toppings: cilantro, zucchini, onions, mushrooms, green peppers. It's amazing. It tastes really good. And my wife, who normally she hates mushrooms, when I make those pizzas, man, she's like attacking it. And she's eating the mushrooms that she hates. That's to let you know how good it is. So I'm big into people making their own foods because it helps you curb your appetite. Because while you're in the midst of making your own food, you're not eating. You're making it. You have to prepare it. So then once it's done, you enjoy what you've done. You enjoy the work of your hands. And when you eat, you're satiated. When you have food that's fast and cheap that comes at you, you tend to want to overeat. But when you eat foods and you prepare your meals with materials and ingredients that are nutritionally dense, you're going to feel full because your cells are fed. You're not feeding your stomach, you're feeding your cells. There's a difference. A lot of people think that I'm going to eat till my stomach gets large, and when my stomach gets big, I'm full. No, that's called gluttony. You never want to eat till your stomach protrudes so much. You want to eat nutritionally dense foods where your cells have the nutrients that they need in order to help you function at your optimal capacity. So when your cells are full, that's why people who eat smart, they don't eat a lot. They eat nutritional dense foods and they're done. You're not supposed to be just stuffing yourself. Like, this idea of a buffet is an American ideal. It's an American philosophy that feeds into this ecosystem that thrives off of people being ill. It's a sick system. It's a sick health system. It's not a healthcare system. The buffet, all you can eat. You're feeding people foods that totally disrupts the synapses between leptin and ghrelin, the messages that are being sent, hence the term synapses. So there's a miscommunication there, because leptin tells you that, hey, I'm satiated. The ghrelin is like, hey, come on, man, I'm hungry. Those hormones, we're driven by hormones, folks. So when you eat nutritionally dense foods, your cells get the messages, they get what they need. The cells send the messages to the brain and to the hormone leptin and ghrelin to say, hey, we're good. We're satiated and we're not hungry. We're fine. But when you're eating empty caloric foods like Burger King, Popeye's chicken, KFC, yeah, I'm not telling you that. I'm not saying that those foods don't taste good. They put ingredients in those foods. Those foods are drugs. That's why you can't control it. That's why you glutton yourself, because anybody that's eating foods where you feel like you're addicted to it, that's a imbalanced and an improper relationship that you have towards the food that you're eating. You're not supposed to be addicted to anything. I've said this numerous times on videos. Whenever you get to a point where a certain food becomes addictive, then you've lost control. Now, you may have certain cravings for certain things. That's fine. Addiction is a little bit different. It means that no matter what, you've got to have it. And we have to be very careful in how we relate with food. You got to have a relationship that's balanced with food. Eat to sustain yourself. Eating has become something that's recreational in our world today. We celebrate eating. Eating is we have an obsession with food. You say, how do I know? Well, look around you. Look around you. And don't compare yourself to other people. Because if you're obese, don't try to look for other people that are bigger than you to justify your position. If you're obese, then justify your position by looking at yourself as the status quo. You are obese. So don't try to look for anybody else that's bigger to, create some sort of comfortability with your own current state. Don't do that. You never want to compare up in terms of, you never want to compare to worse. You want to compare to better. Yeah. So, I don't want to look my age at all. At all. And it's not even about looking my age. People, I'll tell them my age. They're like, oh, I didn't think you were that old. That's the plan. But I'm looking the way I'm supposed to look. It's just that the majority of people who function on a diet and a lifestyle that fits into the status quo of this westernized world that we live in, where everything's about stress and work and no time for self-care, then yeah, you're going to start to age. Oxidative stress is elevated and you start to look older. Premature aging begins to happen. But you'd be amazed. There are plenty of times when I'm hungry, when I'm coming back from work, I'll stop by a grocery store, get a couple of apples and eat those, get some nuts and apples and eat those, and I feel good. It nourishes me. Like I feel good. I don't feel stuffed. It gives me energy. It gives me just enough what I need. And that's what's so amazing about the human body when you treat it right. You just give it what it needs. Not too much, not too less. But we have this idea because we've adopted the Eurocentric or European theme the European theme is try to hoard as much as you can because you don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. It's a very fear-based ideology. It's steeped and rooted in the premise of fear. So we don't know what tomorrow's going to bring because we can have cataclysm, we can have catastrophic events happen, we can have war, we can have a bomb, we can have biological warfare, we can have a storm come through and knock down things. So let's just eat out what we can today because we don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. It's a very low vibrational way of existing, and that's why it lends itself to improper actions, which shows up in eating. Because if you're eating just to sustain yourself, you're going to be very disciplined in how you eat. If you're eating because you don't know what tomorrow's going to bring, then you're gonna eat like an animal. And I don't even want to say eat like an animal, because even animals have limits. You know, you're gonna eat like a wild entity that has no control. And women are upset. I've seen videos on television and on videos on the internet where women are getting upset at men who are in their 50s dating younger women. Well, younger women still have their elasticity. They still have their body. You know, they still have their shape. The younger women just look better. I mean, to be frank, you know, and men, when we age and take care of ourselves, we look better as we get older. Women, if y'all don't take care of yourselves, good luck. So, but if women take care of themselves, they can age gracefully. I've seen women who are older who look really, really good. You know, really, really good. They take care of themselves. And taking care of yourself doesn't mean drinking, going to happy hour to take care of yourself. I'm going to do no. That's the opposite of taking care of yourself. You don't fill your body with a toxic fluid and then deem that as self-care. That's a complete contradiction to the intent of what self-care stands for. Now, if you really care for yourself, you're not gonna indwell in toxicity and swallow that, and then tell yourself or make yourself believe that that's how you're taking care of yourself because you're so stressed. You know. Yeah. So older men, are you looking for younger women? I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. You know, leave a comment. I mean, look around. I mean, I'm in Texas. I don't know what state you're in, but I'm in Texas. I'm not talking about girls. I'm talking about women in their I'll go as young as mid-20s and up. Mid-20s and to their 40s. They're all obese, dude. Like all of them. All of them. It's all of them. Well, let me not use all of them because I hate when people use always and all. I'm not going to say that because I'm painting a broad brush, and I don't want to do that. Let's just say an overwhelmingly majority of women that I see are obese. Let's just put it that way. Body mass index, overweight. And the ones that do look good, that are in shape, they're already taken, like my wife. So if a guy was trying to look for a woman in their 30s and they looked at my wife, they're like, ooh, she looks good, I want to talk to her. Ooh, she's off the shelf, buddy. She's off the market. She's not for sale. I took her off the shelf several years ago, so move on elsewhere. That's what it is. There's very few, probably 10% to 50% of women are probably in shape. And I'm being generous, it's probably less than that. Probably less from what I'm seeing, from what I'm experiencing. I'm just giving you empirical data, my experience. And I don't have numbers, I haven't done a test, I haven't went around and examined people and taking down notes. No, it's not that intense. But in terms of the eye test of the things that I've seen in working in my profession, I see a lot of women because my profession is dominated by women. And don't let me get on our melanated women, our quote unquote, I hate using the term black, but for the sake of this conversation, I'm going to use the word black because nobody's really black. But let's say our copper tone colored women, our melanated women, they're the worst. They're the worst. And I've said this before. The reason why the effect of negative foods impacts melanated people the worst is because the higher degree of melanin that we have makes us more susceptible to the negative effects of synthetic drugs or synthetic foods. And I say synthetic drugs because foods have drugs in them. Processed foods have chemicals in them. If you don't believe me, buy something from the grocery store and Google all those ingredients that you don't know how to pronounce. Google them and then look at the effects and look at what they are. They're all carcinogenic. So because of the higher increase of melanin that we have compared to our pale skinned white counterparts, when we eat foods, it binds to the melanin receptors of the brain and to the body, because every cell that we have is made up of melanin. So when I say it binds to it, it means it connects itself to it. It becomes one with it. It becomes bioavailable inside your body, inside your biosphere. So therefore, the effect of the negative drugs that you eat or the negative foods that you eat, you feel the impact 100-fold. While a white person is not going to get the full impact, which is why when you go to poor areas, you'll see white people in white areas. It's not that they work out, they're more in shape, or genetically they just look better. It's because they're not impacted the same way our melanated people are impacted. Our black women and black men, especially our black women, they get figgity fat. They look nasty, and I'm sorry to be frank and mean, but it's what you're eating. And which is why a lot of these men, a lot of these quote unquote athletes that have money, these women that are seeking financial security from these men with money, that's why most of them are going to date women from different races. It's not that they don't like their black women, they don't like what they see. Most of the women that they date may have a little bit of black in them, but they may be mixed with Latino, or maybe they're mixed with a little bit of Indian, or they're mixed with Arab. Like there's some mixture. It's never just a pure black woman that you see these athletes follow. When I'm talking about a pure black woman, I'm talking about a woman that is not mixed. They're not mixed with. They don't have a white father. Like for instance, the athlete. What's her name? She runs the hurdles. Forgot her name, but she's dominant. She runs the 400 hurdles, I believe. She's an Olympian. She's married to an ex-football player. He used to be a wide receiver. But anyway, she's not purely black, even though genetically she is black, because a little bit of black makes you black. But the fact that she has a mixture gives her an edge. It means that when she gets older and through her running days, if she decides to just eat crap, she's not going to blow up as a typical original black person or melanated person will blow up. Foods don't operate in our genome the same way it operates in our counterparts' genomes. That's just a proven fact. And if you don't believe me, just look around. When we just like the crack epidemic, when a white person does crack, it doesn't impact them the way it impacts a black person. Our melanin is a gift and a curse. Our melanin means that we need to be more careful and be very circumspect with the kind of foods that we intake or the kind of chemicals that we allow to touch our bodies. We're so pure and we're so delicate and we're so powerful as people that we need to be very careful what we put inside. We can't just put it in our bodies junk. Like Superman, as strong as Superman is, kryptonite is his weakness. Well, as strong as we are as people, and as beautiful as melanin is, and as beautiful as black skin is, because it can absorb the sun accentuates our cells, makes us stronger, makes us more powerful. Makes us more in tune with the cosmos. All those things that make us powerful are great. But the melanin that makes us so powerful could be impacted and hindered by us willingly or ignorantly putting in toxic chemicals inside our bodies. And then we feel the full effect. Spiritually, we feel it, and we feel it physiologically as well. Anatomically, we feel it. Our body starts to change. So we have to be very careful. Just like a plant, when you have a plant that's growing, you have to be very careful how you take care of that plant. You can't overwater it. You can't give it too much sun. It has to be in the right environment to thrive. And that's how black people, our melanated people, should operate. We should be very careful. We can't eat like our European counterparts. They're not like us, and we're not like them. Stop trying to eat what they eat. Burgers, that shit is not linked to our ancestry. Like, we don't eat like that. And African American people, they're like, oh, soul food. Soul food has nothing to do with the soul. It actually kills your soul. Soul food is horrible. It's greasy, it's fat, it's full of starch, it's nonsense. So yeah, that's in my opinion, that's what's happening. And I'm seeing it. That's why my wife, when she walks into a room, people are looking, they turn heads. And I'm not been talking about my wife every now and then, but I'm just giving you guys facts. Because she has a husband who's very, very strict with his diet and very disciplined with his workout, she had no choice but to bend. She's like, okay, I met this dude while he was always working out, and I was working out with him when we first were dating. I can't get pregnant, get fat, and all of a sudden just lay back and be like, this is it. Because I'm telling you, action speaks louder than words. I don't need to say anything. I did not need to speak a word to my wife to say, get up and start working out. She's like, okay, hold on. My husband goes to the gym a lot. I know he's being exposed to other women who look good. I'm his wife. I want his eyes on me. The way my wife stares at me, she wants that to be reciprocated. She wants me to stare at her the same way. The way she's lusting over me, she wants me to have the same lust over her. So she's like, hold on. He's going to the gym religiously? I'm getting my ass up. I'm going too. I want to look good too. So you have to be careful who you join with. Because if you join a person that's not like you, or that doesn't have the ambition to improve in any facet of their life, then you need to be very careful, because their energy can drain you and pull you into their cipher. Then you become a person that's trying to live progressively, but you end up regressing. So you have to be very mindful and be very careful of that. So yeah, it's rare, man. You see a woman that looks beautiful, it's like, whoa. Everyone is beautiful. Every child that's born is beautiful. It's up to us to sustain it and maintain it. But the things that we give ourselves to, the drugs, the alcohol, the toxic foods, the junk foods, all those things changes our anatomy in a sense. Physiologically, we start to look different. You start to age faster. I mean, you're walking around with a gut. My wife calls it a booty do. It was something she said. I was laughing at it. I was like, what is a booty do? She says when your stomach sticks out more than your booty do. So she calls it a booty do. But you see certain women with their stomach sticking out so much, but it sticks out more than their butts. You know. And I don't look at obese people as victims of anything. As a matter of fact, what they're doing is easy. It is. It's easy to sit your ass on the couch all day and stuff your mouth and watch television. It's easy to go to McDonald's and just order something, have them slap it on in a bag and give it to you and get your fries. It's easy to go order pizza it's easy to be obese. I don't pity these people. I don't like, oh, there's nothing wrong with these people. We live in a society that's stress induced. Stress causes us to make illogical decisions. Stress increases cortisol in a system, which turns more into belly fat. So when stress increases cortisol, which actually increases belly fat, then we're eating foods as emotional eaters to make us feel better. And to compound the problem, the foods we're eating adds on to the belly fat that's already induced by the cortisol that causes belly fat. So you do that over years and years and years, and all you're worrying about is money and bills and working and taking care of your kids, and you don't take care of your body. Over time, you are going to look like shit. You are going to look like shit. I tell my wife all the time, look, I know we have 3 kids, man, but we got to take care of ourselves. We're no good to our kids because looking bad means you're going to feel bad. And when you feel bad, you have low energy. And if you have low energy, you become lethargic. You become unenthused. You don't have the spiritual energy to even give to your children. Oh, I don't have time for this. My back, my neck, I'm tired. No, you don't have all that. When you have energy and you're full of vitality, and you're enthused, and you have the spunk within you to move, to do things, you could keep up with your kids at any age. All right, so yeah, you got to take care of yourself. Working and having kids is not an excuse. To just abandon yourself? No. I don't feel sorry for people that are obese, because what I do is hard. What they're doing is easy. Anybody can wake up, get dressed and go to work. How harder is it to wake up 3 hours before you go to work, to go to a gym, to sweat your ass off, and to be fatigued, take shower, and then get ready for work? How about starting off your day with some kind of intensity? They don't start their day with intensity. Most people start their day by stuffing themselves with food and using coffee as a chemical stimulant to energize themselves to make it through the day. I don't drink coffee. I don't drink anything. I am my own energy. Natural foods is your energy. But no, I don't feel sorry for people that are dead. I don't pity them. I don't. We don't look the way we're supposed to look as human beings. When you see those sculptures of those Greek sculptures of men looking chiseled and women looking a certain way, that's the way we're supposed to look. Black kings and black queens. But what I see lately is black lard and just black lard. You know how lard looks when you cook? You have that, it's just clumpy. That's what I see, and it's just disgusting. It's disgusting. It's disgusting how we've let ourselves go as a people, and I think it's very, very. It says a lot. It's truly an indictment on the psychology of us too, because if we've let ourselves go physically, then you better believe that we've also let ourselves go psychologically as well, which is why we can't critically think. We fall prey to the race-baiting propaganda that's pushed by mainstream media. We fall prey to the systems that are in front of us because we can't see the forest. We can't distinguish the forest from the trees. We become sheeple. So everything is interconnected. Everything is comprehensive. One thing feeds and leads to another. If you lack the discipline in your life to take care of yourself, then you're also going to lack the discipline to even be able to have the capacity to think critically, to understand what's being told to you, in terms of if what's being told to you is a lie, or if what's being told to you is truth, or if this is something that you need to even consider. You won't be able to do that because your whole life is a fast food restaurant. You go, they give you your food. You go to the television, it gives you your news. You don't think for yourself anymore. See, to live the way disciplined people live, you're forced to think about every decision that you make. You're forced to think about the foods that you put inside your stomach. You're forced to think about when you're going to eat, how you're going to eat. You're forced to think about what kind of workout you're going to do. You're forced to think, like, you're constantly thinking. You're not being given anything. So that's my spiel. I don't even know what I'm going to title this video because it's not morning workout talk. Because I do morning workout talk Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I don't know. I'll think of a creative title. But leave a comment, guys. Tell me what you think. And I am going to be talking more about Colorado football when they're about to play. I'm going to give you guys my predictions of what I think. I'm going to look at the statistics of their opponent. I'm going to look at the statistics of Colorado. I know it's early because they've only played 2 games, but I think that the game that we saw recently with Colorado is going to tell. To me, that's more of who they need to be like. So I'm always going to preface my message with an if. If they continue to play the way they played last game, I see them having a successful season. If they revert back to a very one-dimensional offense with uninspired play calling and making themselves very predictable for the defense to tee off on them, then, I'm going to just give my analysis based on what they're giving me. So I'm going to give my take on their next game and give you my predictions. So stay tuned for that. I am done with this video. Take care of yourselves, guys. I love you guys. I want you guys to be healthy because I'm only giving you what I have. If I felt bad, I would tell you. I feel so good at my age. I feel better now than I've ever felt. Even when I was 19, 20, I don't know. And it's the hard work that I've put in. And I'm only just trying to help you guys become better versions of yourself. And being a better version of yourself has to start with your diet. That's the foundation of everything. You are what you eat. You can psychoanalyze yourself to death and try to make yourself or think yourself to be a better person, but you cannot be a better person if your hormones and your cells are saying otherwise. You are comprised of 50 trillion cells. Each cell in your body is an individual entity. But there's one voice that dictates all those cells. They come together as one in a community. They work together as one to either better you or destroy you. And so when you're feeding your cells horrible things, you're destroying yourself from within. So even if you're telling yourself psychologically that I want to be this, it doesn't matter. You're killing yourself internally. So the internal death ends up exhibiting itself externally, physiologically on your body. You end up seeing it. You end up having diseases and being sick, not being in equilibrium, not being in balance, and things of that sort. Things of such things can actually hamper your existence on earth. So that's my spiel. That's my take. Take care of yourselves, guys. Peace, and I love you guys. Till next time. Bye.